Add a spooky glow to your room this Halloween with this adorable ghost tea light holder. Hi guys, it's Katie from Yarn Society, and today we're going to make this adorable tea light holder. I do want to make a huge disclaimer though. The tea light that you'll be using is an LED battery operated light. Cannot use a flammable tea light, a regular tea light that you would light. Yarn is very flammable, so I just want to make that known. You can go, I got my tea lights at the Dollar Tree, so you can just get those, and they have a little battery. You can pop that on, and then you can pop those in your tea light. So just know you cannot use a regular tea light. We're going to go through our supply list, and then we're going to get started. Really quick, I want to show you this fun yarn. I used the Glow in the Dark yarn by Lion Brand, and it does not do it justice. Even though I'm in the dark, the light is still peeking in, but this does glow, and it's a super fun yarn to use in this project. I really like to use the skinny Chenille yarn for this project because I like how soft and cute it comes out. But for the video, I'm just going to do a plain worsted because it's a little bit easier to see our stitches. But I do recommend using that skinny Chenille. We're going to start out here, round 1, by making 6 single crochet into a magic circle. So you can do that however you'd like. I am going to start off by making a slip knot, and then I am going to chain 2. Here is chain 1 and chain 2. I'm going to make 6 single crochet into that second chain from the hook. If you're just starting out, this is a really easy way to begin a magic circle. I use it all the time. So if you're struggling with that, you can always use this technique. We're going to close up our magic circle. At the end of round 1, we have 6 stitches. I'm going to grab a stitch marker. I like to place mine on the last stitch of the round, but feel free to place it on the first if that's what you're used to. You can also use yarn to keep track of your rounds. For round 2, we are going to make a single crochet increase in each stitch around, and we will repeat that into each stitch. So I'm going to get my hook under my first stitch, and I'm going to make 2 single crochet. Here is 1. I'm going to go back under the same stitch and make another single crochet. I'm going to move over, make 2 single crochet, move over to my next stitch, and make another single crochet increase. Here is our 4th stitch. We're going to make another single crochet increase, move over, single crochet increase. Our 6th and final single crochet increase. For the rest of the pattern, I'm just going to call a single crochet increase just an increase. At the end of round 2, we have 12 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. For round 3, we are going to make an increase in the first stitch and a single crochet into the next. And we'll repeat that sequence all the way around. So we're going to start out with our single crochet increase, 2 stitches in the same stitch, and then we'll move over for a single crochet. We'll repeat the sequence. We have an increase, move over for a single crochet. We have another increase, then we have a single crochet, increase, move over for a single crochet, and then we'll repeat the sequence. We have an increase, a single crochet, and we'll end with an increase, and then a single crochet. At the end of round 3, we're going to have 18 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. For round 4, we're going to continue increasing. We're going to make an increase in the first stitch, and we're going to single crochet in each of the next 2. So place your hook under that first stitch and make an increase. We're going to move over for a single crochet, move over for another single crochet. Now we have another increase, We're going to single crochet in each of the next 2. So here is single crochet 1, move over, single crochet 2. We have another increase, single crochet in the next 2. Here's 1, move over 2. We have another increase, single crochet in the next 2, increase, single crochet in the next 2, and 2. And then we have our last increase, single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. At the end of round 4, we have 24 stitches. For round 5, we have an increase in the first stitch. Then we have a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Here is our first increase. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 3. Here's single crochet 1, move over, single crochet 2, move over, single crochet 3. Then we have another increase, single crochet in the next 3. Here is 1, 2, and 3. We have another increase, single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. We have another increase, single crochet in the next 3, increase, single crochet in the next 3, and then our last increase, single crochet in the last 3 stitches. At the end of round 5, we have 30 stitches. We can change our stitch marker. For round 6, we are going to increase in the first stitch, single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. We are going to make our first increase, single crochet in the next 4. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have another increase, single crochet in the next 4 stitches, increase, single crochet in the next 4, increase, single crochet in the next 4, increase, single crochet in the next 4, increase, and then we'll single crochet in the last 4 stitches. At the end of round 6, we're going to have 36 stitches. Go ahead and change your stitch marker. For round 7, we are going to make a decrease, and then we're going to single crochet in each of the next 4, and I'll go slow for the first one. This is an invisible decrease. We're going to place our hook under the front loop of the first stitch, and then we're going to place it directly under the front loop of the next stitch. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. You want to keep that yarn next to your hook. You don't want it to be loose. So single crochet in the next 4. Here's another invisible decrease under the front loop of the first stitch, under the front loop of the next, yarn over, pulled through, yarn over and pulled through. Single crochet in each of the next 4. We have another decrease, under, and under. Single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Here's another invisible decrease. Single crochet in the next 4. We have another decrease. Single crochet in the next 4. We have another decrease. Single crochet in the last 4 stitches. At the end of round 7, we have 30 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. For round 8, we're going to make a decrease, single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Here is our first decrease. Single crochet into the next 3. Here's 1, 2, and 3. We have another decrease. Single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. We have a decrease. Single crochet in the next 3. Decrease. Single crochet in the next 3. Decrease. Single crochet in the next 3. Decrease. Single crochet in the last 3. At the end of round 8, we're going to have 24 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. From round 9 through 13, we are going to single crochet in the next 24 stitches. So we'll go ahead and crochet this round together, and I'll show you how I like to mark my stitches, and then we'll continue on. So I'm going to do a few stitches to get started. So we're just going to single crochet all the way around. And when I'm about 3 or 4 stitches in, I grab a stitch marker and I place it horizontally onto a stitch. That way I'm marking that this is round 9. And we'll just continue crocheting all the way around. Thank you guys for joining me on this crochet along. I am trying to get a few of these fall patterns out. I have another ghost. It's kind of more like a boo basket. I don't know if you've ever done that, where you've almost like a ding dong ditch, but like a nice one, where you ring the doorbell and you have like a little basket full of goodies. We did that one year for a friend and it was so much fun. And the kids, there were 3 kids in the family and they loved it. We filled it with so many goodies and we rang their doorbell and ran. And it was kind of watched them like from the corner and they really liked it. So that was kind of fun. And I had this inspiration to make, just to put maybe a little gift card or candy. So that will be the next video. And this is our cute little tea light for our home. Okay, we're at the end of round 9. I'm going to change my original stitch marker. And then I'm going to continue crocheting round 10. And having that blue stitch marker on there just kind of helps you keep track of your rounds. So now as we continue, we'll do 9. We're working on 10. Then you can do 11, 12, and 13 on your own. And then we'll meet back at the end of round 13. We're back and we're at the end of round 13. We have 24 stitches. So now that we have this marked, we can count up. So I'm just going to take this one out. For round 14, we're going to increase again. So we're going to make an increase in the first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And if you want, you can mark round 14 because that's where the eyes will go later in the pattern. So here's our first increase. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. I'm just going to mark this with that stitch marker I took out, and this will mark it for later, if I can get it in there, for the eyes. We have another increase, and then we'll single crochet in the next 3. Here's our increase, and then single crochet 1, 2, and 3. We have an increase, single crochet in the next 3, we have another increase, single crochet in the next 3, increase, single crochet in the next 3, increase, single crochet in the last 3 stitches. At the end of round 14, we have 30 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. For round 15, we're going to do another increase round. We're going to make 1 increase, and we're going to single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. Here's our first increase, single crochet into the next 4. Here's 1, move over to 3, move my stitch marker, and 4. We have another increase, single crochet in the next 4, increase, single crochet in the next 4, increase, single crochet in the next 4 stitches, then we have another increase, single crochet in the next 4, increase, single crochet in the last 4 stitches. At the end of round 15, we have 36 stitches. For round 16, we're going to single crochet in the next 36. We're just going to single crochet all the way around. This has been the first time I've really used worsted weight yarn that was not fuzzy, like soft, in probably over a year. So I've been using that really chunky Chenille last year a lot. And then I switched over to the skinny Chenille for some of the projects. And when I went to do the glow in the dark yarn, I was like, whoa, this feels so weird because it's not super soft. And I moved, this is my other favorite worsted. It's from knitpicks or crochet.com. It's called Comfy Worsted, but even this felt tough. It felt tough to crochet. I think my hands got so used to the really like soft yarn that this felt so weird. But I just have to get used to it again. It's just so weird when we change up the yarns and what we were used to. It's just kind of crazy. You guys have to tell me, like, are you still working with worsted weight yarn that's not soft and fuzzy, or are you just used to it? You'll have to let me know what your favorite yarn to use is. I'm always looking for more yarns, so let me know what's your favorite down below. At the end of round 16, we still have 36 stitches. For round 17, we're going to decrease again. So we're going to make a decrease, single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Here is our decrease, single crochet in each of the next 4, decrease, single crochet into the next 4. We have another decrease, single crochet in the next 4, decrease, single crochet in the next 4, decrease, single crochet in the next 4, and then our last decrease, single crochet in the last 4 stitches. At the end of round 17, we have 30 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. For round 18, we're almost done. We only have a few more rounds to go. We're going to make a decrease, single crochet in the next 3. Here's our first decrease, single crochet in the next 3 stitches, decrease, single crochet in the next 3, 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 2, and 3. We have our last decrease, single crochet in the last 3. At the end of round 18, we have 24 stitches. We're going to change our stitch marker. For round 19, we're going to single crochet in the back loop only for the next 24 stitches. And you can optionally, you do not have to do this, but you can mark your front loop only of the first stitch and the last stitch, but that's totally optional. If you're using this worsted, it's a lot easier to see your stitches, so you probably don't need to do this. But if you're using a really fuzzy yarn, it might be helpful. So we're going to place our hook in the back loop, and we're going to single crochet in that back loop only all the way around. There's so many ghosts this season for crochet patterns. So if you made this one, I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here watching this video because I'm on Pinterest pinning and I see so many ghosts. And then they're all adorable. I mean, there's so many different ways you can make a ghost, surprisingly. But I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have made ghosts this season and thought of something else. So next year, I didn't make a pumpkin this year. I try to make a pumpkin every year, but there are so many pumpkins and they're all so beautiful. There's so many different stitches and there's so many to choose from. I thought the world does not need another crocheted pumpkin, but if I ever do come across like a really cool stitch, I'll have to give it a try. You'll have to let me know what is your favorite fall make so far and what you are doing, if you're doing anything else for Halloween, or if you made any other kind of ghosts. I also have another ghost on my channel. It's called Gigi the Ghost. I think it's Gigi. Like, that could be wrong. But I'll link that in the description down below if you want to check it out. At the end of round 19, we still have 24 stitches, and you could, I'm going to change my stitch marker, but you could also mark this last front loop only for later on in the pattern if you wanted. Okay, I'm going to change my stitch marker. We are going to pause here because we are going to place the eyes. So I want to just put something on my working yarn so that I don't lose it. So if you have another stitch marker, great. If not, I know we're using a ton here. You can just use like a bobby pin or something that you have, or just leave a ton of slack on your working yarn. So we are going to turn our work over so that our round 1 is at the top, because we are going to be placing our 10mm safety eyes between round 14 and 15. You can use 9mm, you can use even bigger. It's totally up to you. So I marked my round 14, so I know this is 14 and then 15. I'm just gonna put this little pin in the middle just to mark my spot. And then we're gonna leave 4 stitches open in between the eyes. So I'm just gonna find a spot here. I'm gonna place my eye, and then I'm just gonna count to make sure I have 4 stitches open, and then I'll place my other eye on this side. We're gonna place on the backs. I like to just put that back on and just fling it across the room. And then I just do like a little seesaw motion to get it on the little tab there. Do the same on the other side. I'm going to take out the stitch marker. I don't need it anymore. We are going to embroider on a little smile, so I just have black embroidery floss and I made a little knot at the end. We're going to place our smile between round 14 and 15 and then round 15 and 16. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to grab a stitch on the inside. I'm going to pull that through to my knot, and then I'm going to go through that stitch or another stitch. Doesn't have to be the same one. Pull that all the way through until you get a loop, and then I'm going to go behind my loop to secure the yarn or the thread. So I'm going to go between 14 and 15 between the eyes, and I'm just going to go up through a stitch, and then I'm going to move down around and just poke it in there in the middle, pull it through. Then I'm going to move over a stitch between round 14 and 15 between the eyes. And then I'm going to go back down into that same stitch. This is a super simple smile. Just a little teeny tiny smile. So once you have that all done and set, we're just going to make a knot on the inside of the head one more time. Go ahead and grab a stitch, pull it through till you get a loop, and then go behind your loop and pull it through. I like to usually do it twice just to make sure. And then I'm just going to cut off that extra bit of thread. Here I'm going to grab a small piece of pink. I just want to add a little bit of color to my cheeks. So I do have some of this skinny Chenille, so it is a little bit softer, fluffy looking. I'm going to add that to my yarn needle, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to pick a stitch, and then I'm going to attach it on the inside to make a knot. And then I'm just going to go right underneath that eye and just move over a stitch or two. Then I'm going to put it on the other side. And it just makes him look like he has a little bit more of a personality. You can secure that yarn one more time on the inside and then cut off that extra bit. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to continue on for round 20. We're going to decrease and then single crochet in each of the next 2. Here is our first decrease. Single crochet in each of the next 2. Here's 1 and 2. We have another decrease. Single crochet in the next 2. Decrease. single crochet in the next 2, decrease, single crochet in the next 2, decrease, single crochet in the next 2, decrease, single crochet in the last 2 stitches. At the end of round 20, we have 18 stitches. We can change our stitch marker. For round 21, we're going to make a decrease and then a single crochet, and we'll just repeat that sequence. Here's a decrease, single crochet, we have another decrease, and a single crochet, and then I'm going to let you count your decrease and single crochet. At the end of round 21, we have 12 stitches. For round 22, we are just going to make 6 decreases. So decrease all the way around until you reach your stitch marker. Here is our first decrease, our second, and then I'll let you finish up. At the end of round 22, we have 6 stitches. I'm going to leave a long piece of yarn, cut that off. Then we're going to fasten off by yarning over and pulling that yarn all the way through. And then I just like to give it a little tug at the end. I'm going to take out my stitch marker. We need to close up this hole so you can grab your yarn needle. So I'm just going to count here. This is my stitch marker. Then I have stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to place my yarn needle down the front loop of that first stitch. I'm going to go to the front loop of my second, the front loop of my third, fourth, here's my fifth, and my 6th stitch. Then we have this little hole here. I'm going to keep my eye on this hole and I'm going to tighten up this bit here. And I'm going to place my needle where I think that hole was. I'm going to weave my yarn through. And then I'm going to give it a tug on the bottom just so it pulls it in. You can weave your yarn in a little bit more and then we'll cut off the excess yarn. This is how we're looking right now, a little funny, kind of marshmallowy. We are going to place the border. We're going to grab the white yarn again and we're going to make a slip knot. And then we're going to place our slip knot onto our hook. You want to make sure that round 1 is facing you. And then we're going to be going underneath that front loop that we marked. So we're going to go under that bottom stitch marker. And we're just going to put our hook underneath that front loop. We're going to be working under these front loops only as we continue on. I'm going to get set up with my yarn and I'm going to make a single crochet. I'm going to make 2 more single crochet into that same front loop. So I'm going to go under again, here's single crochet 1, and then go under the same front loop, single crochet 2. In the next front loop only, I'm going to make a slip stitch. So we're going to pull that yarn straight through. And then in the next front loop only, we're going to make 3 single crochet. Here's 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll make a slip stitch in our next front loop only. So that's our sequence. We're going to work 3 single crochet under 1 front loop, and then we're going to move over and make a slip stitch. Here is our slip stitch. Now we have 3 single crochet. And then we move over for a slip stitch. I'm going to let you count your 3 single crochet and your slip stitch because it is a lot of counting. We're on our last single crochets. We'll make a slip stitch into that last stitch, our marked stitch. And then I like to find the first single crochet that I made, and I like to go under that stitch and just make another slip stitch. At this point, you can leave a long tail, and then we can fasten off again by yarning over and pulling that all the way through. Let's just tighten that up. From here, you can weave in both pieces of yarn. You can just snip off any extra pieces that you have. Now we're going to make the little holder part. So we're going to roll and tuck in a few of our rounds. We're going to roll until we get to about round 11. And naturally, you're just going to feel yourself hit up at the bottom of the ghost. So you have to do some kind of like manipulating here, fix our eyeballs. And then you'll see we want about 3 rounds showing right above the eyes. Grab our Tealight and pop that in. The worsted weight yarn was a tiny bit of a tighter fit, and I am a very tight crocheter, so if you're a looser crocheter, your Tealight will definitely fit. So that's it, you guys. This is going to look so cute. Ghost-inspired Tealight holder. I think it's going to be a fun little project for you. Thank you so much for crocheting along with me, and I hope to see you in the next video for our ghost little mini boo basket. Don't forget to head over to yarnsociety.com if you're looking for the written pattern or if you want any other Halloween fall inspired patterns.